What up, what up, what up, football fans all over the world? It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the Super Bowl co-host, Adam Costas. You all know what time it is. It's time for that real deal NFC East round up. Punch that intro. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. I am Mac the Giants fan here with my guy, the Super Bowl co-host, Adam Costas. Man, how you doing today, Adam?
I'm doing fantastic. But obviously we have a game we have to talk about that wasn't too fantastic.
Sure do. Real quick, before we get underway, what's going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. City had the Giants beating the Chargers. That actually happened. And he had them losing to the Saints, and that also happened. We'll be talking about that in a few.
Prove it.
What's going on? What's up, Daniel? Thanks for popping in as always, too, bro. We always appreciate it, man. Oh boy. Before we get to, obviously, the Giants, we going to get, I don't know, you want to come on? We talk about the Giants, Lou? We'll bring you on when we talk about the Giants. And I don't know if you want to talk about everybody else. We usually say the Giants for last. I'll send you a link in a little bit, though, all right? Got you. But let's talk about this Cowboys, man. This Cowboys and the Commanders, man. I mean, Cowboys and the Commanders. The Cowboys and the Jets game. Start off with that. Since that was the most lopsided affair out of the NFC's games this past week, man. Jets. New York MetLife Stadium right now, just not getting much good football from their two teams there. But right now, I don't know what to say. Dallas Cowboys actually went in there and just absolutely dismantled the New York Jets. Your thoughts on this game, Adam?
Well, it was a laugher for most of the game. Obviously, the Jets made it competitive at the end, but I expected them to beat the Jets Cowboys. They've been putting up points per game. A lot of them, and they put up 30 again this game. Dak looked pretty good. The Cowboys' offense looked pretty good. And, again, the Jets can't get out of their own way. They have no defense, which is clear. Even though they brought in the defensive head coach, it's a little surprising in that regard. Justin Fields, is not the greatest quarterback, but he does make things happen with his legs. But, again, not enough offense for them to overcome that. And most of it was already when the game was basically out of reach. As you watch the score of this game, it wasn't close by any means. Don't let that score fool you. They let off the Cowboys, who also don't have a great defense, let off the gas a little bit, as you know, because they probably could have scored more. They just scored 40 against a Packer team. So coming into this game against the walking wounded that is the New York Jets, I expected a big performance, and they gave one. Gets them back in the race. They're technically in the win-loss column are 500. Obviously, they have a tie. But this win brings them back into the forefront, and it keeps their season alive. If they had lost to the Jets, an 0-3 football team, we'd probably look at the Cowboys a little differently. I know they're not a powerhouse, but they're trying to find their way as they go through this. I guess you could call it a rebuild. Offensively, they're stacked. I mean, their offensive line is great. Dak. We talk about everybody else in the MVP. I know Zion and Mac and I have a group chat, and we said, Baker Mayfield. Maybe we should throw Dak Prescott's name in the ring. Because we always talk about Mayfield and we talk about Herbert, but we never give the props to the Dallas Cowboys signal caller. And he's done nothing but have a good season and kept his team in games, and they've scored, 30 points? In most of the shit, a game -1 against the Chicago Bears. So, and of course the Eagles, but they've scored 40 twice and now 30 in 5 games. It's a lot of points. And so he should have his hat in the ring for offensive, at least MVP, if not comeback player of the year, which he probably will be because he was injured last year.
he has been holding this thing together, man. I can't deny what you're saying there with Dak Prescott. Like I said, I think people just had the conception with Dak Prescott is the big moments, man, and what they do and what he does in the big moments, and it always seems to never seems to get his best football in those situations. I think that's really what it's always going to be that stigma holding over Dak Prescott. I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, he's been definitely the glue holding that team together thus far. And for what it's worth, man, with the results this past week, the Cowboys are still very much right in the mix, man. I mean, they're right in the mix right now in the NFC East. Obviously, it's early in the season, a lot of football to be played, but I just think this team, it just still, even though, like you said, the Jets, what they did late in that game was like, the game was already a wrap anyway. Don't let the final score fool you, but somehow it's like you wanted to see the Cowboys just go ahead and just completely just which they did. They did annihilate the Jets. Let's face it, they did annihilate them. But at the end of the day, you wanted to see the Cowboys kind of their defense really, really just finish that football game and bring it home in a
Well,
sense, more so a little more aggression, just to kind of let put the league a little bit more on notice and let them know that the Cowboys ain't really going nowhere.
so if you look at this like this, right? I look at things in momentum. They came off a Packer game. They went 5 quarters. Okay, they had 416 yards of total offense. They had 180 yards rushing, which is insane to think about, right? So we should be giving what's his face credit, Williams, Javonte Williams, who I called out at the beginning of the preseason, told you he'd be a dog. He was a dog in this game. 16 carries, 135 yards, 8.4 yards carry. I mean, the guy's getting it done for this Cowboy team. I understand what you're saying in terms of you want the defense to come through, but let's be honest, the defense have not been great, and they're still trying to find their way about themselves by benching players. They benched Diggs at one point. They're getting they have a new system that they're trying to adjust to, and new players. Not trying to make excuses for them, even though it sounds like that, but I don't know what else you want them to do. They gave up 22 points to a lowly Jet team. They scored 37. They beat that team by 15, two touchdowns. That's a pretty significant, beatdown of a team, right? And they had 4 touchdowns by Dak Prescott alone. He threw 4 no interceptions. I mean, the Cowboys did what the Cowboys needed to do. The Jets, like I said, they scored 3 points in the third quarter, and all their points came roughly in the fourth quarter. 16 points came in the fourth quarter alone. So, yes, while you're right about that, that's basically garbage time to me when you're basically up, at this point in the third quarter, you're up 30 to basically 3, and the fourth quarter, you could just put on cruise control, right? So they scored 1 touchdown to basically salt it away, but I can't complain too much about what they did. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying by the defense.
You're right. It's at the end of the day, I'm just kind of it's like you nitpick. You got to find a little thing. I just find little things here and there. Just nitpicking at this point.
The rushing game.
At the end of the game, that's what I was getting ready to move to. Javonte Williams, to me, is the unsung. I hear what you're saying about that, but he's the unsung hero, I think, this year with the Dallas Cowboy offense. This guy is a guy that came in, was in an open competition with Miles Sanders through the summer and whatnot, whatever. Pretty much he seized that job. He took that job emphatically, has taken over that job. And I think he's been putting together a tremendous season so far in this first month of the season, man. Javonte Williams, I think, has been the unsung hero. Another big performance this week, probably his best game of the season thus far as least yardage wise. Anyway, 135 yards on the ground. I mean, really, I think this is the breath of fresh air this Dallas Cowboy offense needed. This is what was missing from that Dallas Cowboy offense a season ago, is the consistency of a strong running game, and Javonte Williams is definitely giving them that this year. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, that's the key to any successful team, right? You got to have a run game. Even if it's an average run game, you've got to have a run game, because everything is predicated off your offensive line. It's a game of inches. We've all heard that for years. We've heard that all our lives, right? The war is fought in the trenches. It's a game of inches. And the guys that can move the other guys back usually are going to win, right? So that has been the problem with the New York Giants. I know we're talking about the Dallas right now, but your offensive line has to create a push, and you have to have a running back that has vision and patience. And so far, this rookie, this guy is holding it down. 180 yards rushing is ridiculous, bro. If you get 100, you can't tell me that you're going to get 180 yards rushing and expect to lose the game, right? Usually, when somebody reads out a stat that hey they had 180 yards on the ground, it's probably feasible that they're going to win that game, right?
More likely than not.
Yeah.
More
So
likely
I
than not.
mean, and we all know that Dak is not going to be a gunslinger. He's not going to come out there and spread the ball all the way around the field and put up 500 yards passing. You need a balanced breakfast, right? And they've got a balanced breakfast now. Now they got some receivers. They've got a running back. They've always had an O-line. You know, as long as you got a quarterback who can manage the game, you're going to win more of your games. Now, granted, they got a new head coach, new system, new things going on, so there's going to be some hiccups. But I think they got a pretty solid team this year.
Well, I think Brian Schottenheimer is running the team better than Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As you can see, there is a difference, not necessarily in the offensive performance, but at least Eberflus is trying to implement his defense. And as you saw him going forward, they weren't afraid to bench Diggs. You know, they are getting Deron Bland back. They're really trying to build their identity on defense. They got rid of Micah Parsons, which, let's be honest, Micah hasn't lit the league up. Being in Green Bay, he's made his impact felt here and there, but it's not the same as what we're seeing. So it's not. They were going to be a bad defense with Micah. They're a bad defense without Micah. They weren't good defense last year when he was there, so we can't say they were going to be a good defense with him there. They did acquire some picks, so offensively they're stacked. I think they need to sign George Pickens today. And by the way, if you don't know, now you know. I was on the George Pickens boat. Instead, I got backlash because we had a Smurf being drafted in the second round instead of the guy that should have been drafted because the Giants wanted choir boys, and God forbid George Pickens, who got into a little trouble at Georgia, wasn't clean enough for the New York Giants. Meanwhile, CD Lamb goes down. Guess what? The Cowboys still scoring 30 points because they have another number one receiver. Meanwhile, a team in New York, they can't score any points when their number one receiver goes down. Maybe we should have reconsidered that. The Cowboys need to sign him tomorrow because if you think about it going forward, they have a solid offense in their prime. I'd sign both him and Williams to a contract. Williams has had a rebirth since Denver. He was good in Denver, blew out his knee. Last year wasn't good. You know what they say about knee injuries. Takes a full year to kind of, get around.
Yeah.
So this is his year coming back, fully healthy, in a system that features a huge offensive line that fits right into what he does well, running downhill, running guys over. That's what this is about. Thank you, Nomets. Review that tape.
But yeah, I mean, what it was, this is the one-sided affair, man. This game was never really even ever competitive
at all.
I really don't have any more thoughts or conversation for this game. If you had any final thoughts, we can move on to the next one, man.
None from me.
Well, all right, let's
well,
go to
I know
Philly,
I'm just
man.
a guest. I'm not the co-host, so I don't got nothing else to say neither.
Let's go to Philly, man. We'll go to Philly then. Let's talk about the Eagles and the Broncos. This game came down to a fantastic finish. The Eagles, man, came out, jumped on top of the Broncos early in this one, and the Broncos never quit. They kept fighting, and they got it done in the end, man. Adam, what's your thoughts on this Eagles and Broncos game? The Broncos handing Philly their first L of the season.
Well, the Broncos have always been a good team and a formidable foe. They lost on last-second field goals with stupid penalties and things like that. It was a matter of time for them to catch up to the Eagles. But the Eagles got out to an early lead, right? They were basically in cruise control for most of the game, and then things happen. You don't convert on third downs. Defense steps up. You get sack pressures. Things happen. Next thing you know, you're staring down the gun barrel and you're looking at it the other way like, damn, how do we lose this game? And to be honest, the Eagles shouldn't have lost this game. You can argue about the penalties that they had that weren't called. The one on Goddard down at the goal line, that clearly was a pass interference. But, you're the defending champs. Sometimes you're going to win some calls. Sometimes you're not. I think they're struggling with their offensive line in terms of run blocking. I think they can pass the ball. I think that's what they need to figure out right now. Am I worried or alarmed by them? No. You played a Denver team who basically season was on the line. Okay, they had a chance. If you look at Denver, they understood the stakes. The Chargers just lost the game. Kansas City's not the same anymore. The Indianapolis, excuse me, the Raiders are absolute dog shit, right?
He got Daniel Jones on the mind.
They had,
Just messing with you.
yeah. Well, he's having a good season. Good for him. Well done, Daniel. You sucked here. Let's move on. No X's.
Yeah, he damn sure did.
But the Denver Broncos looking at it like this. They had a chance to get back in the race, and that's what they did. Their defense is underrated. I don't think we give their defense enough credit. Bo Nix, whether you like him or not, does just enough when the money downs matter to make it right. He may look ugly throughout the game, but game's on the line, he needs to make a few plays. He does it. And they are a team that now, for if you look at it, has a chance to win the West. With them being 3-2, the Chargers being 3-2, Kansas City at 2-3, and obviously the lowly Raiders can't get out of their own goddamn way. They have a chance to win the division. So this is a big game for them. It was a statement win for them. They needed to beat a big team like this. Remember, they played Buffalo in the playoffs last year, and it didn't. They got dog walked up in Buffalo. So for them to beat the defending Super Bowl champion, we'll see if they can propel themselves going forward. As for the Eagles, again, they have a good defense. The defense gave them only 18 points. You give up 18 points, you should win a game. Their offense kind of struggled at the end of it, like they have throughout the season. They were in it with the last play, right? They still had about a minute to go. They still were able to drive downfield with their kicker. They could have kicked the field goal if they needed to. Obviously, they burned their timeouts early, but they still were able to get in position to get down there. Imagine if they get that pass interference call. Then maybe they kick the field goal and they win the game, right? Or they score the touchdown on the push or whatever with Barkley. Who knows at that point what would have happened? But just like all their games this year, it goes down to the wire. And some you win some, you lose some. I don't think it really hurts the Eagles. You're watching their media and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Eagles!" Please, every team they've played has been good. Every team that they've played has been good, okay, and has been gunning for them. They lose to one good team, and I'm supposed to worry. It's not like the team was 0-3 or 0-4.
Yeah, I hear you. But the thing about the Eagles that's starting to bother me when I watch them more, I watch them week in and week out, is I get the talent that they have, and it's more. I mean, it's an immense amount of talent. Obviously, I get that, but I think at some point you do have to truly form your identity, man. I believe in that. You have to let people what is this team, man? I mean, I look at their stat line. There is no excuse for me for an offense that has Saquon Barkley in it, for him to only have 6 carries in a football game, 4 quarters of football. That's to me, that's he should have more than 6 carries in the first goddamn quarter. Like 4 quarters of football, Saquon Barkley only had 6 carries. We got to come stronger than that. We have to. I mean, I know he got a little banged up in this game, a little bit from what I understood. Things he got a little banged up, but beat up a little bit, but he was out there playing, man. He was still playing all the way to the end. 6 carries for me. I just don't understand what kind of philosophy that is, where you have a running back, that guy that went over 2,000 yards a season ago, now sitting here with 6 carries in a football game. I mean, one of the absolute elite running backs in the NFL. There's only a handful of those guys, and he's one of them. And the fact that he's sitting there with only 6 carries, to me, that's just unacceptable to me. I think offensively, I think they need to come with a better game plan on Thursday night. Which they probably will.
Doesn't even matter. They can play bad. They can play bad and still win the game. I mean,
but of course they probably will. But that was even. I didn't even mean to walk myself into that one. But yeah, I just think that's just not really unacceptable. I just think that's one of the things that jump on the page of me in this football game is the Eagles. Like, you need to control the clock a little bit better. You got to use that bell cow. Saquon Barkley is a bell cow, and you need to use him a little bit more and be more effective with his touches, man. And so he can be more effective with his touches, man. Like you said, there's no reason for panic mode with a team like this. They don't have to go into panic mode yet, by no means, man. This is, like I said, to me, they're still. I would still put them as the best team in football, even after this. Even though it was a tough day at the office, I still think when it comes down, you just look down that roster, man. It's just just too talented, man. Like you said, they're gonna have days like this where it just didn't all come together. Like you said, it's not like the Broncos, some kind of slouches, man. Bo Nix, once again, like you said, it might not always be the prettiest, but this guy wins. This is what he does, and this is a guy, as you know, this is a guy I wanted last season, a season ago, and when that great class of quarterbacks came out. I was on Team Bo Nix. And people kept telling me was how he wasn't going to be able to play in the NFL, and he wasn't going to be able to do this, and he wasn't going to be able to do that. Well, guess what, people? He's doing this and he's doing that, and he's part of a good football team, and he's the guy.
Damn.
So
You're right.
Once again, it's just I don't want to talk about all the missteps in the New York Giants. We'll get to them in a little bit. Let's just keep talking.
One more thing I'd say about this is I brought up their schedule again, the Eagles, and they're hitting a soft spot of their schedule right now with the Vikings. I mean, they're pretty tough. But the Giants, they played the Giants twice, but they started out with the Cowboys, who, they're the Cowboys, division rival, right? They played the Chiefs. They played the Rams, they played the Buccaneers, and then they played the Broncos, right? So they played teams that have been good and gunning for them. What their shortcomings we have seen throughout the year. They haven't always delivered in the second half. And I think their problem, more so than really running, is delivering in the second half. If they scored a touchdown or even maybe a field goal or something like that, they didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. And again, their defense gave up 18 points in the fourth quarter. They basically collapsed. So again, we're sitting here and we're saying it, Jalen Hurts still threw for 280 yards, right? 280 yards. So they decided to pass. Devontae Smith had 114 yards. When you have that many yards and not that many turnovers, you should be able to win the game. But of course, what happens is third down efficiency is what killed the Eagles. That means there were 2 of 11. It means you're punting a lot more. They also had less plays than the team, and they also gave up 6 sacks to that team, right? And they had 7 punts. So when you have this with a culmination of, not having the ball as long because they didn't run the football, this is where your game plan is. And Mac, in the fourth quarter when you're up, that is when you should be giving it to your bell cow back. That's what you paid him for. And I think maybe this game will awaken them. I don't want to give them excuses for what they're doing. I do believe the new offensive coordinator, when we talk about philosophy, is getting a little too cute. And I think Nick Sirianni needs to get in his ear and be like, look, man, we paid Devontae Smith. We pay, this guy. Let's give him the ball. And I know A.J. Brown might still be unhappy, but he did get some targets. And we'll watch how that story unfolds going forward. And I do believe the offense could have had more points. They did miss a couple deep throws. Him and A.J. Brown were not on the same page. Had they hit that throw, there could be some differences in the game. So while we're complaining about them now, it's a bounce here, a bounce there, a penalty here, a penalty there, and they're back in the games as we speak, right? You can't always rely on those penalties. You can't always rely on those big shots. But if you would break down the game in a microcosm, if they hit AJ, if it's in Butts or Kennedy, that's every day but Christmas. But let's play that if game right now. They hit AJ Brown for a touchdown. Now we're talking about 24-21. They win the game. And you were talking about how they almost lost it, but they still somehow found a way to win, right? If they get the penalty down there, maybe they get another chance at a closer touchdown. And we're talking about them stealing the victory out of the jaws of defeat, and they never should have been in that position. So I'm not in panic mode. I know Philadelphia is, because that's what they do. But to me, I don't really see them letting off the gas much in the next 3 weeks. I mean, they have the Giants, they have a 10-day layoff, then they go to Minnesota, and they have the Giants again. I mean, what are we talking about? What, 2-1 in that stretch at worst? I see them going. So they have some chances after this game after this Giant game coming up on Thursday night to try to tighten up some stuff. And the Eagles have been known to do that. When they get to the bye week, they tighten some stuff up, and away they go, like they did remember the game against Tampa Bay last year? They had a bye week. Everyone's talking about, oh, my God, they can't do anything. They came back after their long layoff and figure out what the problem was. So if they can get over this hump on Thursday, which I do believe they will, and we'll get into it a little bit more, I think they'll fix some of those problems with their mini bye going into the game against the Vikings.
I mean, I think like right now, like I said, it's just no need for no time for panic mode for the Eagles right now. This is too good a football team. Just see how the trend continues going forward. I just would like to see this team kind of assert themselves a little. I don't know. I should say assert on the offensively a little bit more because I just feel like with all that talent, I mean, it seems like this team still, even though they're still for the most part winning games, other than Sundays, the mishap on Sunday. I feel like we're not seeing everything that this team has to offer. I feel just that for lack of a better word. I just don't. I just feel like there's just some kind of disconnect right now. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just getting adjusted to the new systems and coaches, different coaches' mentality, offensively, philosophy. Maybe it is that all to do with all of that. And may as the season continues to progress, this team will finally just find its stride and be just a little more consistent offensively. I just feel like
And teams are
people
giving them
talk
their
about
best shot.
like you said, ifs and buts, like you said, and there's a lot of ifs, and the Eagles have found ways to come up on the winning side of this most of the time as far as this season. But they've had, like you said, every game so far, they've been tested, they've been pushed to the limit, every game pretty much to the brink. They could have just as easily lost pretty much every game they played this season.
Right.
So,
Stay on that point for a minute, right? Because we talked about that. Every game this year they had a chance to lose, and they found a way to win. This is the one game where they did not hit the big play. They did not get the penalty. They did not get the timely play that was needed for them to ice the game, right? There's no blocked field goal in this game, right? They had 2 blocked field goals against Tampa Bay. Remember, they blew out Tampa Bay that game too. They did the same thing against Denver that they did against Tampa Bay. They just took their foot off the gas again in the fourth quarter and decided to go on cruise control, because when you're going into the fourth quarter and you have a 17-3 lead, 2 scores, you don't think that you're going to give up the 2 scores with the way their defense is playing. Well, they did. They gave up the 18 points. And somehow at the end of the game, again, like we said, they had a chance with the ball in their hand to throw a Hail Mary. And obviously their time management wasn't good. And like I said before, if they get through this Giant game, right, I do believe with the time to reflect, Nick Sirianni does a good job of getting the team reacclimated. I think their defense is playing pretty good, sans some things. They gave up 6 sacks to this Denver team, right? So their offensive line gave up some sacks. Somehow he still throws for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? Even though he's being sacked 6 times. So they're going to shore that up as well. Their offensive line is banged up. Philosophy is a bit banged up. That yet again, they still win games and find ways to win games. Now, if they do drop this game on Thursday, then I would have some concern with what's going on, because these are the games I think they sleepwalk through. A team that's wounded coming in on Thursday night, going into their building, looking at the standings, because you have to look at the standings, and they are now not the top team in the NFC. I would give that crown right now, after what my eyes see, to the Detroit Lions. Detroit has come in, and ever since they lost to Green Bay, have been dominating their opponents one by one by one by one. And it's going to be a good game to see what the Eagles stack up in a few weeks against them. But I want to really see this Viking game, because if we think that they beat the Giants, and I pretty think we're on the same page here, they're probably going to get the W. I want to see how they get to the Viking game, because that game is a team who knows where the Vikings will be, whether they'll be 500 or better than that. They did win their game against the Browns last week, so they're 2-3. I don't know who they play right now, but if they win their next game and they go in 3-3, and the Eagles are 5-1, at worst 4-2, you don't want to be 4-2 in that game, because you lose it, you're 4-3, and now you're really fighting to the middle of the pack. So I do believe the next 2 games are crucial. 1, to see how they make the adjustments going forward, and 2, to see where they're going to land in the race. Because again, I do see it there. Like you said, Mac, I see it there. I think it's going to take a little time to mesh and make adjustments, and I want to see how they come out against the Vikings after the 10-day layoff.
well, it'll be interesting to see, man. Yeah, interesting to see. We'll find out see what the Eagles do. And what's going on to you, Bookends? Sorry I meant to holler at you a little earlier, man. But thanks for popping in as always, man. And you're right. The Eagles did start off slow last season too, man. And we saw how that year ended for them. So, like I said, no need for panic in Philly right now with a team that talented and what they have, everything they got going on. But I just would like to just wait to see them become a little more consistent and look, a little more ready for the long run, man. But we'll see. Washington Commanders, man. Washington Commanders went out to the West Coast and took care of business once again out there on the West Coast against the LA Chargers, man. Another tough day for Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. And what's your thoughts on this one, Adam?
Well, I was surprised that the Chargers lost this game, and the Commanders looked pretty strong. And the Commanders needed this game; they really did. I think at 2-3, you were looking at the Commanders differently. And guess what? Guess who was back this game? Guess who was back this game? Jaden Daniels.
JD5, absolutely.
He makes the difference on that team, on just how they play, on how they do things, right? And I do agree with No Mets. The Chargers are on fraud watch again. They come out the gate strong. I don't want to give them any excuses, but they did have a banged up offensive line. Okay, against the Giants pass rush, I get it. The Giants pass rush feasted. Still were able to score 18 points and make it a game. Against the Commanders, I thought it would be a different story. I thought that would be a blowout, as a matter of fact, because I thought they couldn't hang with Justin Herbert. Well, they made the Commanders look like the 86 Bears. They couldn't block anybody. They were in the backfield. The Commanders do what they do with Jaden Daniels. They take what the defense gives them, whether it's dink and dunk or a run here or run there. And they hit their plays. Deebo Samuel, had some big plays in this game too. And that's their formula. Their formula is going to be with JD5s in the game, have strong running backs, have a strong running presence, whether it's Deebo, whether it's him, whether it's Bill, and play bend but don't break defense. But like somebody said, when they get a lead, they're easier because their pass rush and their blitzes can be a little bit more exotic. They can take more chances, right? When they're playing basically even or below, their defense can't hold up because their defense predicates their offense eating up clock, scoring points, and being able to kind of just send Bobby Wagner or Frank Louvu on a blitz here and there, cause a little pressure, play sound defense, because that's what they do. They play sound defense. And I think this was a huge game for them. I thought they were going to lose this game because they didn't play any big teams well last year, and I thought they wouldn't play. And from the last week, they lost the previous game. I think it was against Green Bay. They didn't do so hot. Or not Green Bay. I forget what the previous game was, but they didn't come out looking so hot. And I thought, Chargers bounce back. I thought it was a fluky game that they played against the Giants. A couple uncharacteristic turnovers, blah blah blah. Right? Bounce back. Well, LA does what LA does, and they come up lame sometimes. And let's hope that doesn't catapult them down. But this is a win for the Commanders that could catapult you forward, saying, "Hey, we beat a good Charger team. We can beat some better teams on the schedule. We're starting to find our groove as Jaden Daniels gets healthy. You see that big brace on his leg as he gets healthy and continues to rehab that knee. Hopefully not playing him and he's still injured. Hopefully it's just precaution for him because you don't want him to RG3 it and blow it out doing something stupid. Make sure he's fully healthy. Put him out there. Obviously, they lost to the Falcons or whatever it was previously, so they needed this game. And I thought they had a resounding win, a big win, and they kind of made a statement like, hey, don't forget about us.
Well, I think something he said, like to me, where it just sticks out is, like you said, it was the return of their guy. It's something about having your guy back out there, man, that just rallies the troops. I mean, yeah, sure, they're still down Terry McLaurin in that wide receiving core, but I'm going to tell you right now, Deebo Samuel is stepping up to the challenge of being that number one guy while Terry McLaurin is out of the lineup, and he's been stepping up and he, like today, past Sunday, big game, 8 catches, 96 yards, a touchdown catch. I mean, Deebo Samuel, he's answering the call, man. People question whether he'd be able to, what his role would be, how he'd fit in with this Washington offense, if he even still had it. I mean, the way San Fran seemed to kind of let him go for a bag of nickels for the most part. But the Washington Commanders, man, just getting that guy back in the lineup, JD5, man, it's a difference. It makes a difference when you get your guy back out there, and you can see with the way this game all translated, man, how it all played out. Jaden Daniels, he's him, man, and he's that guy, and he gives that Washington Commanders team belief, and they believe anytime he's on the field, they believe they got a shot, no matter what. When Jaden Daniels is out there on that field, and you saw that Sunday going out to the West Coast, man. Chargers coming off an ugly loss to the Giants the prior week, the week before, and go out there and get punched in the face at home. I mean, the Washington Commanders, this was a big win for the Washington Commanders. And also, hats off to that defense. You know that I was giving that defense a hard time all summer long, bro. I was giving that defense a hard time all summer, man. So hats off to that. Hats off to that defense, man, going out there making the plays that they needed to do, man, and getting the job done. And that 7th-round gem they found that made Brian Robinson Jr. so expendable, there you go, Bill. Yeah, that's what you are. I don't know why your name is Bill. Why they don't know why they call you Bill when your name is Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. But hey, Bill, whatever it is, man. Out there, 14 carries, 111 yards. This young man is off to a great start to this season and is very much in that rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year running, man. He's very much in the mix right now. That's what the things he's been doing, man. So
that's why I hate teams, right? They go out and they find a 7th-round running back. Right, and he's performing well, and we don't get these gems. Our guys get injured and banged up, and the last 7th-round running back that we had that actually did something was Ahmad Bradshaw, and this could be their Ahmad Bradshaw. Now I got to learn more about this guy. I wonder why he ended up in the 7th round, but maybe they have something, and it would be interesting what they're building on offense, right? With Cliff Kingsbury there, who could be the next Giant coach. He has done a good job with the weapons he's gotten. He has Deebo Samuels, kind of what he had with Hollywood Brown back in Arizona. He has JD5, kind of similar to what Kyler Murray was. They didn't have their running backs were, they had James Conner back there, but they didn't have a back like they got with Bill. And then they have Terry McLaurin and Ricky Parasol. I mean, did you see that dimer he threw to Luke McCaffrey? I mean, that was an absolute dime.
Adam,
you couldn't walk that shit.
Is there something that's going around the rumor mill?
What?
That's the first I heard of that. You said Cliff Kingsbury could be the Giants' next coach.
No, I mean that's a possibility if he does well this year, and we fire Brian Daboll. Why wouldn't you want Cliff Kingsbury? I mean, he's young. He's got head coaching experience.
No, I was just asking because that's the first I heard of it. And
it's not an official. No, it's not. That ain't been. That's just stuff that That's just right now. As Giant fans, we talk about everything.
See happen. Okay,
yeah, we did because we have all we have is hope for whatever.
So at least we're all in agreement that Dable needs to go.
Well, I mean, when we get to the Giant segment, I can share a few nuggets from Pat Leonard this morning when I was listening while working, and basically, what's going on with this team. But to finish up with the Commanders, is you can see what happens when you have a solid offense. Right, their offensive line is playing better than it is. They're investing in it with Laremy Tunsil. They're not great defensively, but when you have a solid offense that can produce and is a threat to score in every drive, it changes the strategy of the game. Right, you got to do things differently on defense. We're afraid of the big play, and mind you, they're doing this without Terry McLaurin. Right,
and their offensive line coach is Bobby Johnson, correct?
The guy that we ran out of town.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
yeah, the guy that we said sucked. Everybody hated.
So it goes to show you how their offense wants to run, and it's just hats off to Kingsbury, who I'm eyeing as a head coaching candidate, who probably will get one if they go deep in the playoffs this year, and they score a lot of points. This is where it needs to be, and to have Dan Quinn there to help right this ship is good. When you have a good coach in place, he outcoached Jim Harbaugh, right? We talk about how good Harbaugh is and what he's going to do for that team. But if you look at the two teams, Commanders have less and are doing more, right? They don't have as much talent on both sides of the football, and yet they're still in every game, competing in every game, winning games, and they do it in many different ways. And even though their defense is probably their weakness, they do enough defensively that if their offense does stuff and they get turnovers, they know they're going to score. They know they have a decent kicker, a solid quarterback, and that's a different mentality when you go out there. So, again, big game for the Commanders. They get themselves back in the race, and let's see what they can do with this. It's all about the next week, how you can build on the next week.
Absolutely. Definitely a big win for the Washington Commanders going out to the West Coast, man, and getting it done against what people thought was a very good Chargers football team, but now we know they're on a little bit on notice now. Keeping an eye on, like you said, perhaps this team is truly on fraud alert, man. Maybe they came out fast those first few weeks, and now it's back to reality with that football team. But we'll see as season continues to progress. But definitely, obviously, was a big boost getting Jaden Daniels back in the lineup for the Commanders, man, and we'll see how things can turn around for their season the rest of the way, man. NFC East right now at the top is pretty muddied up right now. Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys are all right now just kind of all pretty much a game apart from each other for the most part. So we'll see what happens, man. Any last thoughts on the Commanders before we get to the of the program?
Just that they need to just keep this up, right? Whatever the formula is, and we know what it is JD5, keep them healthy, and they have a shot. And that's got to be their formula. And if they need to start winning big games, because their schedule is just as bad as the rest of the NFC East. They play Denver, they play Kansas City, they play a lot of these other teams that we also have played. So, big win like this, let's see what they can do. Let's see where it propels them.
Absolutely. And now let's get to the Bayou. Let's go down to the Bayou, New Orleans. New Orleans Saints hosting the New York Giants on Sunday, man. Giants came out, looked like they had a plan. They had a plan that was going to work. It looked like it came out the gates, first couple of drives, looking like a real NFL team out there on the field. And then that reality set in, man. That reality set in, Adam, man. So just go ahead and let me know, man. Tell me what you thought, what you saw on Sunday.
So
this football
let
team.
me tell the story. Let me preface this for everybody. I hope you got your popcorn because it's going to be good, right? So I'm here. We have a birthday for my son. Birthday is 11-1. So cleaning up, and I'm on my phone, of course, bad internet, and I see Jackson Dart touchdown. I'm like, man, we're cooking. Get in the car. They score again. Boom. Get at home. Sit down. We're at 14-3. I'm like, damn, man. Like I need to be out more often. And then that's when the shit hit the fan. I watched, New Orleans struggle offensively the first drive or two, and then they scored a field goal. And then they had another drive, and I'm like, I thought the Giants this was after the Giants scored. They go back down. I'm like, well, if Saints somehow figure out a way to score here, they might be in the game. So they do. They get a field goal. I'm like, okay, typical shit. Then, we have the second quarter happen. And the Giants, again, are up 14-6. And I'm like, wow, this can't possibly be, this can't possibly be a one-score game, right? Giants are cooking. Jackson Dart, Darius Slayton, the ball is dropped. Typical Slayton. I don't want to hear about that guy. Mac, don't talk to me about Darius Slayton anymore. Please don't. Please don't. I am not talking about that guy being good. You guys can. Do whatever you want. I'm done with Darius Slayton. He drops too many fucking footballs. So the Giants get to punt the ball. I'm like, this spot, and they had a good punt inside the 13-yard line. Who'd expect it? You're like, this could be easy. Then what? They say set hike. They look back. I'm like, wow, Spencer Rattler's got a lot of time. Well, he's going to go deep. He ain't going to hit this. And then in stride, there goes Rashid Shaheed by Tyler Newman. And I'm, what the fuck is going on? And from that point on, the game was a mess. They got the ball back again. Fumble by fucking Darius Slayton. Fuck you, Darius Slayton. The Saints go back down and kick a field goal after missing a field goal and giving you a short field, kicking a field goal up 16-14, going to the halftime. This team was 0-4. They couldn't score a damn point against anybody. They were 0-10 with Spencer Rattler as their quarterback, and now they're up 16-14 after you dominated the game. Then you come out in the second half and don't do fucking shit. You let the Saints march up and down the field, drive after drive, field goal after fucking field goal. And what do? You get Jackson Dart. He fumbles. I can't blame him. He's trying to make a play. Ball slips out of your hand. He's a rookie, right? Throws a fucking pass. Bo Collins, maybe if you fucking moved and did something, you would have caught the fucking ball. Instead, you're standing there looking at it. Kool-Aid McKinney, who's done nothing in a year, finally comes out now won Defensive Player of the Week when he did shit the entire season against the Giants. Guess what? He's winning fucking awards. So now, here we go. Cam Scatterboo gets the ball knocked out, and it's returned for a touchdown. I'm looking at myself, and I'm looking at the score, and it's 26-14, and I'm like, the Giants have no fucking chance of coming back in this game. Not one. And then I find out the stat, they turned the ball over 5 fucking times in one game. 5 fucking drives ended in a turnover. You know who did that? You know what other fucking team was so fucking bereft of talent and stupidity that did that? It was the New York fucking Jets 9 years ago.
That was 5 consecutive drives, by the way.
Right.
5 consecutive drives.
The only fucking team to do that in the last decade was the New York fucking Jets.
Okay, I heard you mention a few turnovers. Who was the other turnovers by?
Jackson Dart had 2 turnovers, and then fucking you had Darius Slayton who dropped the ball, right? You had Cam Scatterboo who fucking fumbled, okay? And you had the fucking
Jackson Dart had 3 turnovers. He had the 2 interceptions and the 1 fumble.
Right, so you had the 1 from Slayton, the 1 from Scatterboo, and the 3 turnovers coming from Dart. Now look, Dart threw a late interception in the end of the game. Basically, everyone took it to like a punt. So you can't blame him for that one. If you think
he's a rookie, it's going to happen. And nobody's scapegoating him. I'm just saying the coach making a decision to put him in this early when he should be sitting and learning because we're not winning nothing this year.
Listen. You can't go back and forth. You can't love him against the Chargers and then hate him against the Saints.
No, I said he shouldn't play this year at all. I like the kid. I'm backing him. But you should let him learn. Otherwise, we're going to do the same thing to him that we did to Daniel Jones. That was what I said 3 weeks ago.
I'm not worried about it. You start the kid. He's better than what they got in the field. If you want to really argue, Jameis Winston probably should have been the starter of all the quarterbacks. But that's beside the point.
I agree with you 100% on that.
You're going to ride with the kid regardless. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about sitting. Some people want him to start this game. Everybody wants the soft landing spot. Get him the experience. I'll tell you right now, he's already got more moxie than Daniel Jones. I'm not worried about it. He's better. He's got better skill sets already happening. I'm not worried about him on the field. You don't want how they're going to fuck Jackson Dart is by not getting a new coach in here for him. He's already got talent. I'm not worried about him. He'll survive whatever happens through this rubble. He can handle that. There's some things we got to talk about that he might need to work on in terms of the big stage, but
I mean, he's a rookie. They all got a learning curve, but the coach is my biggest concern. This coach is ruining this team. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not. Yes, the problem I have with this team is one, the vaunted defense that everyone was telling about got no fucking sacks against a guy who went 0-10. No fucking sacks. They had 1 hit on the quarterback. Tyler Newman, no adjustments. If he stinks, then he shouldn't be playing single high safety. That should be for Von Holland. You know what the Saints did? They did their fucking homework, and they're like, look, the 3 guys that come on the field on defense, we're going to attack. Deontay Banks, Andrew Phillips, and fucking Tyler Newman. You get 1 guy on those guys, you're probably scoring a fucking touchdown. Guess what? Andrew Phillips had a fucking pass interference call. Deontay Banks gave up a fucking couple fucking plays, and Tyler Newman, again, had a bad angle. Those are the 3 guys that are liabilities on defense. Fucking do something. Coaching-wise, we don't do anything. There's no fire. There's no fight. This is the problem. Brian Dable's got to go because there's got to be some accountability, okay? You made stupid roster moves, you and Joe Shane. Take Joe Shane with you because he's a piece of shit too. You made dumb roster moves where you don't bring up a receiver. How are you going to bring up 4 tight ends? You just lost your receiver against the Chargers, and you bring up 4 tight ends and don't even bother to use the motherfucker. And are you in 12 personnel? No. You're running 3 fucking wideouts with Slayton, Hyatt, fucking Bo Collins, and Darius Slayton. You're running 5 wideouts, yet you bring up 4 tight ends, and you use 2. Are you kidding me right now? What kind of strategy is that? You couldn't bring up little Jordan Humphreys to help the guy out. You couldn't do any of that shit.
He's a moron, bro. Him and Joe Shane, like you just said. Joe Shane got rid of a lot of talented players, didn't get nothing in return for him, okay? You see them doing better elsewhere because the coaching staff we have here can't coach or develop the talent. And both of them need to go.
And the point here that I want to make is that this team has poor coaching all around because you can't tell me that I've been watching football for fucking 30 years, okay? And I could see a guy like Jalen Hyatt. John Ross has more touchdowns than Jalen Hyatt. And that guy was a one-trick fucking pony. You're telling me you can't get this guy on the end around? Wan'Dale Robinson, who fucking sucks, and I told you he does, is a fourth receiver. You can't give that guy a fucking end around, a little jump off, a little screen. Where's the fucking creativity in this offense? No, you know what you do? You drop back and hope Cam Scatterboo can run over somebody, or your quarterback can get you fucking double the yard through the air and running, because you have no other fucking playmaker and you have no way to strategize, because you didn't think in the offseason when I banged the table in this very fucking podcast and I said, Mac, what happens if fucking Malik Neighbors goes down? And people were like, no, don't worry about it. It's okay, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't. And this is the fucking problem that we have. And we ain't got
But hold on, because I love the road you're going down right now. Obviously, I'm one of the guys that defends all. I've been defending the other guys. You know, I will call them the other guys. I've been one of the big, strong, trying to defend the other guys. And like right now, when it comes to like Wan'Dale Robinson, I still believe he's a little better than your. I don't think he's a total bum. I just think we just don't have a coaching staff. I think we have a coaching staff that has no idea how to use a guy like him properly. I mean, a guy like him, you need to find a way to scheme him open into open space. You can't. I mean, still, I'm just saying, but we don't use him correctly. We don't use him correctly. I just feel like everything we're doing with him, everything we do with that dude is he's always in a crowd. He's always in some crowd of fucking people. He's always surrounded. Always got a linebacker on his fucking back or something. Like, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is our coaches suck, because you look around the fucking league. You look around the league everywhere else. Every other team has these superstar wide receivers that every defense they're playing against is game planning to stop these motherfuckers, and yet they still can't be stopped because their coaches find a way to make their superstars work, to make it work. They find a way to get their guys open. They find a way to get their guys the ball, their best players the football. This coaching staff does not. Incapable. It does not do that. Even Malik Neighbors, when he's out there, he has to work his ass off for everything he gets. We haven't seen like just that clean, just wide open Malik Neighbors and go for it. We haven't seen that, truthfully. He's just an uber talented guy that can just make things happen no matter what cards are dealt his way. Sure, we don't have any other guys remotely like that, but I'm just saying, I think our coaches right now are the biggest kick in the ass to this football team right now. That's what's holding this team. It's just completely holding this team back, because they seem to be clueless week in and week out. They get out coached every week. How do you, as a defensive coach, you go out there week one, you're sacking Jaden Daniels, go out there week two, you're sacking Dak Prescott, you go out there week three, you're sacking Patrick Mahomes, you go out there week four, you're sacking Justin Herbert, and all kinds of whatnot, but then week five, you can't even put a finger on Spencer Rattler.
You made him look.
Make it make sense. That's absolutely just ridiculous to me. It is the coaches all the way top to bottom, from Brian, the head coach, down to every other whatever positional coordinator, whatever the fuck's going on with this team. This coaching staff absolutely sucks. They adjust to nothing. They adjust to nothing in the game. Where if it's not working, they still just keep trying to do it anyway. Even if it's not working, they still, we're going to keep doing it anyway, even though they're stopping it every time. We'll go out there and try it again. No. That's not what the good coaches do. That's not what the great ones do, man. This is like, why does Spencer Rattler get his first win at our expense? Because that's what we are now. We're the joke.
He called us out and said, our defense is lame. They don't do nothing in the back end. And guess what, Jane Bone? He was fucking right. You let that guy who's been in the league for fucking 10 games call you out and perform. As for Wan'Dale Robinson, hey, listen, man, I'll go on the Amazon cart right now and get him some fucking platform shoes so he can be a little fucking taller, so that maybe you can see him on the field and maybe he can catch a fucking pass. Because that guy to me is useless regardless of if it's coaching. A lot of this doesn't make sense to me, because when we sit there and we watch, we tell me how talented this team is. The defense didn't step up. They needed to step up. They needed a turnover. We got no turnovers. We got no fucking turnovers. They marched down the field They missed 2 field goals. Otherwise, the score is probably even worse than it is.
Well, look, no Mets. With all due respect, man. Look, I don't care about how many times he's been sacked this season. He also hasn't played against Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. He hasn't played against that this season yet either, until he did on Sunday. So to me, I just know. To me, I don't. That's horseshit. Spencer Rattler is ass cheeks. We made him look like he was some kind of all-pro quarterback on Sunday, just flinging the ball all over the place against his defense. Not acceptable. I don't care. I don't care what he's been doing all season. Anybody? What's going on, Mitch? In the chat too, by the way. I didn't notice you pop in there, man.
Well,
But
that goes back to the coaching. We got talented guys on the team. You can't tell me that all 53 of these guys are trash because they made it through college to the NFL. The coaches can't put these guys in positions to win or get the best out of their skill set. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. Brian Dable, Mike Kafka, Joe Shane's drafting. They suck. They suck. The experiment should have been kiboshed at least a year ago, at the very least a year ago. The fact that we're still running with these guys just because he got his quarterback is ridiculous to me.
Well, no.
Because he had 4 seasons to try to right this ship. And we have gotten worse and worse and worse each season. It's not like we're making progress. We're regressing under this regime.
And the problem is something that was mentioned to me not mentioned, but it was talked about with Pat Leonard. So this morning I got the privilege of being in a space with Pat Leonard, and he was going over some little nuggets about the Giants. And he was delivering some insightful news about many different things. We'll talk specifically. We'll talk about the coaching. He believes that Brian Dable is in save your job mode because these two were in lockstep at one point, and then there was friction, and now you can tell that he knows that he's probably a dead man walking. Right? There's many in the building. There also is too many cooks in the kitchen. Apparently, there's personnel issues coming from the top that they don't want to see Dart, that some guys want to see Dart, that this person needs to be played, that person needs to be played. So when you have all that and you're the head coach, I'm not giving any excuses to Brian Dable, it's hard to, navigate like that. And I'm hoping that if this season ends badly, we don't give he needs to be with his quarterback, and we clean house. Because a lot of things will be coming out. There's a few nuggets I heard on the documentary coming out tomorrow by Barkley that also shed some light on some things. This organization is dysfunctional, is basically what's happening. They're the New York Jets, and they're lucky that the Jets play in town because, like the Yankees are lucky that the Mets play in town because when the Mets are catastrophe, the Yankees can kind of go under the radar. Giants are the same way. Jets have problems all over the place, but we don't talk about them. We talk about them and laugh at them on the radio and everything. Say, oh, look at the Jets, right? But the Giants are just as bad. They have their hands in the cookie jar. Too many things going on, right? Not everybody's on the same fucking page, right? Some people wanted Russell Wilson. Some people didn't want Russell. Like, there's so much going on, right, that needs to be addressed. And we just need to clean house, talk about it. What we need is a coach and a GM that are going to push back on ownership if they try to meddle, as opposed to letting things happen. And then when you do draft your players, they need to do things for you. And you'll need to be on the same page, right? That's why they both need to go. I don't think they're going to do that because that's not what the Giants do, but I believe they need to do that, where if you're bringing in, let's say, a John Harbaugh, because that guy probably, if their season continues the way it will be, could be on the chopping block, or a Cliff Kingsbury, or guys like that. I'm giving you guys some good names to keep an eye on that we should be targeting if he goes out. Will they want to work with Joe Shane? If I'm Cliff Kingsbury and I come in and I've been working over Washington, and I know Adam Peters' right-hand man, and I know the philosophy I want to run, right? And I have to deal with the goofball that is fucking Joe Shane, I better have some creative control as well, because this motherfucker is not going to cost me my job. And that last year, a lot of coaches didn't come here because of fucking Joe Shane, because they didn't want to deal with dealing with him. So if that was the mandate, if that was the precedent, and if that is true, and they both stink this year. You need to get rid of both of them. And the Giants need to figure that out. And I'm hoping a lot of the exposure they're going to get in the next couple of days with the documentary, Pat Leonard talking and shit, will get this stench of filth out. Now, obviously, we know that, John Mara's dealing with some health issues and they sold portions of the team. Who knows what will come of that? But while they're in office right now, they need to find people who are going to make this organization proud, find a identity of the team. Because if you go around and you look at the teams that win, Kansas City, what's their identity? They're Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes centric. The Cowboys, they're big offensive line. They want to run downhill, that type of stuff. We don't have any of that. We don't know if we're a finesse line. We don't know if we're not a finesse line. The sentiment that kept coming back in Pat Leonard's thing that Joe Schoen kept reiterating is competing and rebuilding. And you need to figure out one or the other. Because if you do that, and competing and rebuilding, it's like building a house and having that room in your house that has a roof on it, but no furniture or walls. It's just the framing of the house. And every year you go, you put a little piece in there, but you never quite finish that addition because you're constantly fixing other things in the house. What you need to do is just tear it down and start from the studs and say, our quarterback is here in Jackson Dart. We're going to give him a chance. We're going to build this offensive line. We're going to draft these players. We're going to invest in the receiving core, right? And make good play and get good coaches and guys that can scout. I would get rid of the entire scouting staff because we blame Joe Schoen, but a lot of his constituents are the ones on there giving him these ideas. If they don't win on Thursday night, this week, tomorrow, Brian Dable should be on the chopping block. He shouldn't be the coach if they lose and they lose badly come the game against Denver.
I agree with you that he should be gone already. My question is, if you fire him tomorrow, who's his replacement?
Who cares? Let
Matt Kappa just be the interim head coach for all I care at that point.
So Matt, you're a manager at a job, right? You have an assistant manager. You get fired. Who's the next guy in line? The
assistant manager.
Okay, so if you made Mike Kafka the assistant head coach and you fired the head coach, well, then you let Mike Kafka run with the show and you said, here, this is your audition. See what you can fucking do. The team plays better under you, you'll get an interview. Probably won't get hired, let's be real, because you're part of the problem, but at least you'll get interviewed. And, hey, he's Spanish, so to go for the Rooney rule, so they'll check 2 boxes with 1 stone with this guy, right? So that's what you'll do. But you have to have the gravitas to fire the guy.
Wait, you said he's what?
He fits in the Rooney rule. Go look it up. Mike Kafka.
No. Why?
Because
he's Hispanic.
He's Hispanic.
Where?
I don't know where. I
guess enough of them is.
Kafka is not a Spanish name, and the last time I checked, babies are made from testicles in semen.
He could have been adopted or something. He could have been adopted for all we know.
Listen, I'm not going to make the rules. This is what happens.
Yeah, right? He could have been adopted. That happens.
Ain't nothing Hispanic about that man at all.
Listen, you can take that up with Mike Kafka, but I'm just saying. All I know is that that's what he does, and you give him. If he's the assistant head coach, you gave him that title for a reason. Don't be fired. Don't be afraid. How many teams have assistant head coaches? Not many. Some do, but not many. So fire him. See what he's got. See how he can motivate the team. See if he changes the offense, knowing that it's fully him. But if you fire a defensive coordinator, what's that going to do?
Look, at the end of the let's say what's up going on in the chat, man. I want to say what up to my guy David Burns. How's everything going in Texas, man? Thanks for stopping in. Always on Facebook, man. Like you said, sorry to say, every player every player that's playing for someone else is doing well, including Daniel Jones. The only factor that's the same is the coach. Time for a change. That's what we've been talking about, David. Absolutely, man.
100% agree.
It's just ridiculous at this point, man. I mean, this whole thing has to go, man. This thing, you know it was bad coming in anyway. Like I said, you come in as you get hired as the GM, Joe Schoen, then you hire your buddy as the head coach, man. Like you kind of already knew that was a recipe for disaster. And as we see, it's blowing up right in our face. We all got blinded by that first season a little bit. That first year was successful to, well, okay, not you, successful to an extent. Go to the postseason, win a postseason game. Yeah, then that's when the wheels fell completely off after that, man. But no Met series, like you said, the GM forcing Banks to play and have playing time. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know why or how he would have influence on that, but that's ridiculous if that's the case. But ownership should have pushed back on the GM. It's a lot of things we should have done wrong. Bookend says, let's stay away from any Billy B and Nick Saban spawns. I definitely with that. Support that. More importantly, this team has been very undisciplined. Penalties, missed tackles, and bad angles, etc. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right there, man. Bookends, because you just hit the head on the nail, man. That's once again a reflection of the coaching staff. These are things, these undisciplined stuff here, these penalties. That's on the coaches, man. That's on the coaches. That's when that's the coaches. They need to stop that. They need to get this team in check, have this team mentally prepared on Sunday, and they're just not. They're going out there leading the league in penalty yards. That's not a good look. That's not a good thing to be leading the league in, New York Giants. We lead the league in all the wrong categories, it seems like. And this is just crazy. Another 95 yards worth of penalty yards again in this game. How you gonna win football games doing stupid stuff like that, man? And like you said, I think the tackling was actually a little bit better in this game as far as the actual tackling itself. That honestly was a little better in this game from what I was looking as far as just that. But the bad angles, once again, Tyler Nubin, oh my God, man, what is with this guy and taking an angle at anybody?
Week.
I just don't understand what it is with him. He had Spencer Rattler dead to rights coming off the edge on that blitz, man, and he just took the worst angle possible, man, and I don't get it, man. I don't know. This is the basic things too. These are the basic things, man. From when you're a little kid learning, man. And this is what's disturbing about this football team at this level. These kind of mistakes should not be getting made at the way the New York Giants are making them. So it's just like I said, it's bad all across the board, man. And I just don't know where this team. I mean, look, now Darius Slayton is which. Obviously, he's been pretty much no factor anyway through the first 5 games anyway. But now he's out on Thursday night. So what are we going to do? I mean, I would assume that means that little Jordan Humphrey's got to get elevated now. I mean, not much of a choice now in the matter of doing that, I would assume. But
you would hope so. You would hope they get the memo. But knowing this coaching staff, they'll throw a tight end.
But think about it. This is what we're going out there with against the world champions on Thursday on a short week. Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, little Jordan Humphreys. Like, is that what? What? What are we doing with that? I mean, 2 of those guys don't even have a catch on the season yet.
Oh my God.
I mean, and Hyatt and little Jordan Humphreys and Bo Collins only has 1 catch on the whole damn year. I mean, like. What are we giving Jackson Dart to work with? I mean, I just don't. It's gonna look. I don't know what they expect on Thursday night out there, but it's gonna get ugly, man. I think I can see it getting ugly really, really fast because I just don't. I don't know. I can't. When I think about what I just said, I can't even take that seriously. Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, little Jordan Humphreys. I can't take that seriously. Oh well, we got. I guess Gunner might get some offensive snaps on Thursday night. I mean, yeah, I guess he'll be getting some offensive snaps, all offensive work on Thursday night just by default. We just don't have anybody at this point. Absolutely running nothing out of the tunnel, man. I don't.
What the question you have to ask yourself is, where are the explosive plays coming from? Because when you don't have a guy that can catch in Darius Slayton, you have a guy who lacks confidence or doesn't seem to get open in Jalen Hyatt, and Wan'Dale Robinson, who had 1 good game against the Cowboys all year. Where is the threat coming from? If I'm the Eagle defense, which is who they're playing, and I'm looking, or any defense, not just the Eagles, and I'm looking at this Giant team, especially right now, depending on how long Slayton is out, I'm just going to stack the box, stop the run, and see what you can do with competent corners. And we play some tough defense. We play the Eagles twice, we play Denver, and we play the 49ers and a few other teams coming up out the gate. So if we don't have a viable threat that teams are going to believe in, the kid is going to have to make plays, and that's what they're going to try to rely on, is the magic of JD6 trying to save this guy's season. And I want to say this about Jackson Dart before we move on to our game predictions or our last final thoughts. We can't blame this season and what's going to happen on him. I know a lot of people are already, getting mad about him throwing 2 interceptions or this, that, and the other thing. This is a learning process for him.
We wasn't gonna win this season anyway. You can't put that on him.
Well, but you know how people are. They don't care. They care about their agenda and being right and not. I feel like, every other week it's, well, look what Daniel's doing. Who gives a shit? We have a new kid here. Let's go follow what he's going to do and not worry about what other outside entities are not on our team anymore do. We got to focus on this kid, watch the games, see if he develops in the things he needs to develop in. Obviously, what Pat Leonard said, a few little nuggets about Dart was, it said he needs to work on his passing, but that'll come in time. I think, obviously you have to get better at this. Only experience will happen. And the one thing I will say about him is he needs to kind of get out of his own head. Heard he was lying down on the floor after he threw an interception, which is not, you don't always want to see, but that's not something you want to keep portraying. But that's also coaching as well, letting these behaviors go. Another thing about Tay Banks, and another thing they talk about coaching, Pat Leonard asked for Tay Banks. They asked for him after the media session to confront him on why he didn't block for somebody on, I forget what play it was. I think it was a kick return or something like that. And he snuck out the back without answering or taking accountability for that. So that's the culture that's been set by the two at the top. And that's basically it I have for the Giants and the Nuggets that I have. I'm on to week 6.
What's going on, Simple Man, in the chat, man? Thanks for stopping in, bro. See your Commanders out there doing the thing, man. Yeah. Bookends. Odell Beckham going to be taking a 6-week suspension for his PED violation a season ago. So even if he wanted to try to bring him in, he couldn't get him till week 12 anyway. Turnover, says.
I thought he got 6 games, which would put him in line after week 6 to be signed, if that's how it's going.
No, I think he just accepted the suspension. I think he just accepted it or something. It was some weird shit I just saw on
he said Terrell Owens might still be better than these guys.
Well, he probably is. What's going on, Alex, man? Thanks for stopping in, bro. Appreciate it. Everything's going well with you, man.
Too, right?
Always good to see you, brother.
Protish.
Always a pleasure, Alex.
Alex doing big things down in Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
This team would be disciplined.
The King's ransom for Vrabel.
Yeah, probably should have. I mean, at this point, this team needs to figure out something. He wasn't
coming here, bro. He wasn't coming here to work for this clown show.
Because what it is right now is it's just a joke, man. I just can't believe I'm seeing today. Like I said, we are. When I was growing up, what we are right now is what the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions were when I was growing up. We're those teams now. We're those guys. It's getting it's you can't even defend this football team. Like when you're sitting out with your homies talking shit, you can't even defend the New York Giants right now because they are just that fucking terrible.
I was just talking shit to a Dallas Cowboy fan, and they said, "Oh, the Giants can't talk that much." And shit, the only thing I could say was, "Y'all ain't won in 30 years." But apart from that, we following the same trend.
Well, look at this. Only 2 teams in NFL that have 100+ losses over the last 10 seasons are the New York Jets with 107 and the New York Giants with 100. Okay, so
great football you giving the city.
So this is what we're talking about in terms of what we're dealing with. And again, Tom Coughlin, when he left that building, he sucked all the life out the building when he got fired.
Yep.
Because he got blamed for something that wasn't his fault and shouldn't have been blamed. And they got suckered in by the Philadelphia Eagles, who said who were pretending that they liked McAdoo and ended up signing Doug Peterson. And we signed fucking McAdoo. And we've replaced the legend, and we have not been the same since that man left the building. Okay,
the Coughlin curse.
And right now, we need some stability. That's why I keep telling you, Harbaugh, if he gets fired, Kingsbury, if he gets fired. But knowing the Giants are going to take Mr. Pillsbury Doughboy himself, Mike McCarthy, because they're going to be like, oh, he fits all the fucking narratives we want. A Super Bowl, he's a winning coach. Do I mind Mike McCarthy? No, but that's what the Giants are going to do when it comes to safe coaches. and things like that. People keep telling me Jesse Minter from Seattle, I don't want no first-year coaches. I don't want nobody
No.
that I got to read that has to learn the position.
I want a proven fucking coach and a proven GM. I've been screaming that shit for years.
I mean, there are guys out there. I mean, Tomlin has to be fired first, but their team's 3-1, so I can't, until it happens, I'll know. Jim Harbaugh's more likely because he's 1-3 with Cooper Rush in that division. He's not going anywhere. He could possibly
love Mike Tomlin over here. What?
You got other guys you got to look at. There's Jim Schwartz. There's Arthur Smith. I'm not saying I want these guys, but there are plenty of guys to choose from when you're out there. If you want a young up-and-coming guy who's still going to be here long-term, because you're like, we want a guy to be here long-term with our quarterback, look, Cliff Kingsbury. He does exactly what you need. He knows how to use mobile quarterbacks, okay? He understands how to build an offense. He's already been a head coach that's been with a crappy franchise. He made Arizona relevant, okay? And if he came to New York and you gave him the same acumen you gave there, and you don't have to let him work with a GM that's goofy like Joe Shane, at least you have to pick a quarterback this year, like the dumb shit that Joe Shane does, and you give an actual GM he wants and let them come in together as a pair like the 49ers. You know what? People need to go back and watch what the 49ers did. The 49ers were a fucking joke until they brought in John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan together, and they gave them 6 years to fix the shit. And they let them do whatever the fuck they needed to do. And look, the 49ers are relevant 10 years later. That guy came in 2015, 2016, and he's still on the fucking 49ers now together. And they build perennial winners. You may not like Mac Jones. You may not like Brock Purdy, but those fucking quarterbacks win for them. And every year they're talking about winning teams, and they're winning with injuries. Right now they're one of the top teams in the division, right? Only teams like Seattle who have a coach that have talent, you bring in a young coach like they have. But the Giants, we did McAdoo for no experience. We went to Pat Shermer, who had experience, but he failed. Then we went to Joe Judge, and now we're at fucking Brian Dable. And it's funny because I was talking to a Jet fan, and they go all defense, and he was like, but you guys go all offense. Maybe we should switch philosophies. Maybe the Jets should go offensive coach, and the Giants should go defensive coach, and maybe they'll fucking figure this shit out. Because right now, I don't want to see anybody who's a first time or any of this. Get me a guy. I don't care if you want to keep Joe Shane and you want to lose.
No, I don't want to keep him. He needs to just kick his ass out the door too.
They need to leave together.
Because if you kept 3 and 14 together, then they should be able to go out the door together. I don't care about like Jackson Dart. To me, I already know he's going to be pretty good. He looks like he's got some goods. I'm gonna keep him to the side. If I have a 3 and 14 season and I bring in a new coach and they want to fucking draft a quarterback, that's on them. I can't say to them, no, you can't do it. You need to let them have autonomy of the roster. If they come in next year, whoever the coach is, because I do believe someone's being fired. Whoever that coach is, you got to give them autonomy of the roster and say, you know what, if you don't like Jackson, that's fine. Let's trade him and do it. I don't think that will happen. I think Jackson will show enough that the next coaching staff will come in and be like, I can mark my stamp on him because he does have some cool tendencies. He's got cool arm angles. He's got some of the things you look for in a quarterback. You just got to get the coaching around him. But let's move on.
Got to get some players around him, coaches around him, everything. But yeah, we definitely got to move on. Get to the previews. Let's start where we're at right now. New York Giants hosting the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night. Yes, Simple, I hear you in the chat, man. Thursday night games do be sloppy, but this New York team they're just sloppy, period. And so on a short week, world champs coming to town. History against the Eagles isn't good, regardless of how. Even when we were a competent football team, we still struggled with the Philadelphia Eagles. I see nothing changing here at all, man. I'm not gonna sit here with a straight face, look at y'all in this camera, and tell y'all that the Giants is gonna beat the Eagles tomorrow. I just can't say that with a straight face. Anything's possible, I guess. Anything can happen, but I ain't no way in the world I'm putting my stamp on that. I can't say that. I just at the base of what I know, what I've seen, and ain't no way we got a chance against the world champs tomorrow night on a short week. I just can't see it. Based on what I told you, we running out at wide receiver tomorrow night. 2 of these fuckers don't even have a catch on the year. They don't even have a catch on the season. And that's what we're running out at wide receiver tomorrow. You know what I mean? So just based off of that alone, Jackson Dart, I think, is going to go out there, going to play with us. And one thing I'm sorry I didn't say about Jackson Dart previously, too, is the way this young man took accountability. He took accountability for the L against New Orleans.
He didn't
He didn't
pass
have
the
to
buck.
take.
Yeah.
He had to take the weight on all the weight, but he took accountability, man. That's what you want to see out of your young leader, man. But back to this, I still don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're going to stack the box against Cam Scatterboo because we don't have a wide receiver that they are concerned about in the least. So I think it's going to be a tough treading for the rookies on tomorrow night. I think the Eagles are going to bust our ass, to be quite frank. I just don't see it any other way.
Well, Lou, I'll let you have the floor for a few minutes. What are your thoughts?
Me?
Yeah.
Not bloody likely. I don't think we stand a chance tomorrow, man. I'm at the point where I don't even really want to watch the games. It's too painful. It's like I know at the end of it, it's going to be another one in the loss column. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to see these young guys get on the field and, show what they can do. But until we have a coach that we can trust, you're basically just running these guys out there and risking getting them hurt because winning is not a possibility at this point. We're just going out there to get hurt and sweat.
Well, yeah.
Bookend, you don't believe that shit. You don't believe that, Bookends.
I mean, that's why he has a smiling face crying because it's definitely not going to happen. But for me, if the Giants had won this game, I would say, you know what, maybe they have a chance because the Eagles lost. You're getting them vulnerable, short week, blah, blah, blah. We lost to an 0-4 football team, 0-3 football team, 0-4, whatever the fucking number is. I don't even know. But the fact of the matter is we lost to them. They had no wins. So now I'm supposed to be like on a short week with the best receiver on our team, the booty-ass receiver in Darius Slayton out, and I have to rely on the Smurf, Bo Collins, the guy who's on a milk box and Jalen Hyatt to come out against a defense that knows how to stop, that's played better talent this entire season. They're going to probably come out and laugh at us. Like, really? Bo Collins? If I'm in that Eagle locker room and I'm Vic Fangio, I walk in and be like, if you let any of these guys get over 100 yards, I'm fining the entire defense $1,000.
No, you know what's sad? Mac just brought it up earlier. Saquon has 6 carries in that loss to Denver. Watch him come out tomorrow and run all over us.
I mean, we're the
think
New York Giants, so that everybody's going to run all over us anyway. That's what they do. So everybody does.
If you want to
Pretty
talk
much.
strategy real quick, I just think their defense is too much. Their front four is going to be too much to handle. Their linebackers and Zach Bond are going to be disguising coverages and things like that. I think Jackson Dart's going to have a solid game. He might throw an interception or two, but they're going to have to threaten downfield. And I want to see what they do defensively because the Giants can't stop a nosebleed. This team knows how to throw deep, and it's going to be the A.J. Brown get-right game where they're going to hit A.J. Brown for a big touchdown or some shit. And everything's going to be kumbaya and rainbows, and we're going to be out there, and we have to stew on this loss for 10 days. I don't think the Giants are winning. I would have given them a chance if they beat the Saints, but we can't even beat the fucking Saints. So definitely not going to beat the champs off a loss, and they're probably coming into,
with a chip on their shoulder. Yeah.
No, Mets, the defense is not off the hook. They do got to show up. You're absolutely right. And they ain't off the hook. After their performance on Sunday, they definitely ain't off the hook either because they're going to get a whole lot more than what they saw against New Orleans on Sunday.
And we have a talented defense. Shane Bowen just doesn't know how to use these guys.
He's like Shane Bowen is crap. But Dallas Cowboys, they going down to are they on the road against Carolina? Yeah, they're going down to Charlotte playing the Carolina
They'll be
Panthers.
here in Charlotte,
Cowboys,
yeah.
Cowboys coming off a big win a big win on Sunday, just annihilating the Jets. Taking on another team that's been, a little, ups and downs, the Carolina Panthers, but they don't lay down, you know what I mean? They still give you everything they got, this football team, and they got what takes the Cowboys up. I don't know what you think about this one, but I think I like I picked the Cowboys for the Jets for the upset last week, and I definitely blew up in my face. Cowboys dominated that game. I think this week I'm going to stick with the Cowboys. I just think what they're showing me offensively, that they're a lot more balanced offensively than I initially thought they would be going to see. I thought Dak was going to have to be, playing a lot more hero ball for the most part offensively with those guys, but they've been handling business. And like you said, Adam, the acquisition of George Pickens has paid dividends for them, and Javonte Williams as well, bringing him in. Like I said, it's got this offense really balanced, got them cooking, man. And I think the Cowboys get the job done against the Carolina Panthers, which will probably be a really good game, I think, though.
I agree with you. I think the Cowboys are going to run up and down the field, but I'm going to go with the upset here because the Cowboys tend to do what you say. The Cowboys tend to do fluky things, and
That's true.
this is that game where they're riding high. They just beat up on the Jet team, and like you said, this team's not as bad as the Jets. They are a bad football team, but they are not as bad as the Jets. And you know,
And Carolina has a little momentum coming off of that win.
so I mean, I don't trust Bryce Young. That guy. I don't. One minute you're like, oh wow, he's good. And the next minute you're like, what the hell are you doing? So, but I think this game will at home comfortable. I don't know. I'm going the upset. I know the Cowboys probably offense is going to put up 40, and I'm going to look like an idiot next week, but I want to have a little fun. I always pick the same team because that's no fun for the show. So I'm going with the upset of the week, Carolina.
You want to pick a prediction, Lou?
This is a toss-up game for me. I think Carolina's riding high on the momentum, able to come back and pull off that victory. Uh, Maybe Dallas might overlook them and come in a little too confident and possibly lose to the Panthers. At least that's what I'm hoping. We can't be the only ones losing in our damn division. Shit.
So you're picking Carolina?
Well, bookends, man. You talking about bet your bones, apples, oranges, man? To me, they both ass, and neither one of them have no redeemable qualities for me as a defensive
I bet
coordinator.
you're not in the league anymore.
And both of them have worms.
So,
Both be on the unemployment
yeah.
line very soon.
And then we got one more. The Eagles. I mean, we got one more to talk about here. Washington, always said Monday night. Washington hosting the Chicago Bears. Man, this should be another good one, man. Last year, these two teams played last season, man, and it was a great finish. Washington stealing it at the end against the Chicago Bears, man. Chicago coming in. I know they remember that one for sure and want to probably try to make sure this time they seize the opportunity, man. But Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, top two picks from a year ago, man, back at it again. This could be an exciting game Monday night. Chicago Bears kind of up and coming team. They still trying to find their way a little bit, but offensively they've been clicking their last couple of outings, man, coming off the bye week. I think they're going to be ready for this one. They had this one probably marked down on their calendar, man. Like, look, man, remember what this team did to us a year ago. I think this is going to be a great game, great way to end week 6. But I like Washington here. I like Washington. I like Jaden Daniels, man. I think he's just the real deal, man. Like I said, this team, when he's on the field, they're a different football team. They believe, and they believe they can beat anybody when they got their guy out there in Jaden Daniels, man. I just love everything he brings to the table. And I just think that the Washington Commanders take care of business at home in prime time against the Chicago Bears.
I mean, it might as well be a Commander fan. They're winning. I mean, the Giants don't do any winning, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad at you if you decided to go watch JD5. But my thing is this: I think this game is going to be interesting because last year propelled the teams in two different directions after this game. The Bears were never the same after this game, and Washington, started to ascend in this game. Right? They started to win their 12 games, and I think you're going to see that same kind of. I think the revenge is on the mind of the Bears, albeit it's not the same coaching staff and everything like that. You still have that little. They still have it in the back of their mind, and the Bears are clawing. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling a little froggy or something like that. But I'm going with the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears and Monday Night Football. Walking into RFK and leaving there with a victory and keeping the playoff drive alive. Because I think if they come in here and they can win this game, because I think this is their albatross, right? Remember, Ben Johnson didn't want to go there, had to have restrictions, was on the plane, turned around, the game last year with Caleb Williams, and now you got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. This game should be, they play 9 games a year, that offsetting schedule. If they add games to the schedule, this one should be on every year. We should get Jaden Daniels against Caleb Williams for as long as they're in the league together, because I think we need to start building those type of rivalries. And I think you're going to see Caleb Williams walk out, evening the score, 1-1, as the Chicago Bears win on Monday night. Take that to the bank.
All right. You want to take a prediction, Lou, or are you good with this one, Washington, Chicago, Monday night?
I don't know. I think that could be a close one, man. That kind of go either way. Like he said, they've got a rival. and it's one that we look forward to watching.
Now,
Yeah, now hopefully Caleb Williams can turn things around over there in Chicago. They've been bad for quite some time. We all remember Jay Cutler and uh, so
Mm.
the Super Bowl, Rex Grossman. How terrible is that?
God, the original RG3.
Oh my
Oh
God.
shit.
More like -3.
Yeah, Rex Grossman the third.
He was a gross man. That was his name was fitting as quarterback.
Oh boy, Rex Grossman. Well,
So, with that being said, who are you predicting? Bears?
Mm, I don't know. I kind of believe in Jaden Daniels a little bit more than I do in Caleb Williams. I'm gonna go with Washington.
All right. So Lou is in Washington. Max is in Washington. And I'm the only one on the island. I'm the only one taking the Bears. I'm going with the Bears. You're going to be wrong, Mac. You're going to be wrong. I feel it.
see, I mean, they are coming off their bye week. You know what I mean? Like I said, and I know they had this one circled for sure after the game last season.
His nails done. He is ready to go.
The way the game ended last season, I know they had this one circled, but still, I just think Jaden Daniels is something really, really special about that kid, man.
So he
Just
got his
something
nails
magical about
done.
him.
He ready to go. Hey, Adam, you stupid.
Well, full word for you on that one. Jaden Daniels got some magic, though, man. He really is fun to watch. And unfortunately, he's in our fucking division, and we have to watch him the next decade or so.
He's also on my fantasy team, and that's another thing I love about Jaden Daniels. He is on my fantasy
No
team,
wonder
and
there's so much love
he
from his
pays
play.
dividends.
All the time. I knew there was an underlying message with Mac. He doesn't just praise guys. He's giving out those vibes for his fantasy team. It comes out. It comes to the surface.
But just bookends, this is a great comment too, man. I love because this is something I do love about Camps. That's why I like watching Cam Scatterboo play, man. He's got that old school, just the old school style, the old school mentality, man. You know, just when he go out there, he throws them blocks, man. He be running it, man. It's fun to watch sometimes, man. It's fun. It's really fun to watch. It's enjoyable. He does make it interesting. Yeah, it makes it interesting for me, a guy like me. He takes me back to the old school, just the game that I grew up on. He's that kind of player. And just gotta, he put the ball on the ground for the first time. He's a rookie. Once again, also like Jackson Dart, I'm not gonna crucify the kid for that. But as long as it doesn't turn into a habit.
Almost like 10 times last year. Give me a break.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't turn into a habit, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm still riding this. We're gonna still ride this guy. I think it's safe to say he's RB. He's RB1. he's RB1.
I'm so juvenile.
No, that was definitely possible. He said, "I'm still gonna ride this guy." Wait a minute.
I think it's safe to say that he's RB1. You know what I mean, for this period now. I think him, Tyrone Tracy coming back in. He's more just going to be that. He'll be the change up, compliment to Cam Scatterboo, and Scat he gets better every week. He's been just showing signs of improvement. So, man,
It's definitely better. Scatterboo and
lining,
Tracy definitely better than with Singletary's in there. I agree with you.
The silver lining with the Giants is that I can take is you got a couple of young guys offensively that we can really build upon. If we have Malik Neighbors out there, we really can get a better look and see what the future could possibly bring for this offense. Defensively. Abdul Carter being very disruptive still hasn't quite gotten home yet, but he's very disruptive. I mean, we got a few young pieces, man. I just look at the silver line, and that's all we can really do at this point, and hope at some point things change. Darius Alexander is starting to show up, guys. That guy that everybody was, calling him a bust because he got off to the slow start. He's starting to show up a little bit now here, making a little bit of noise. He had it coming off his best game on Sunday by far. He's making some noise out there, actually, if you ever got to pay attention. So, look, at least we do got some young pieces to hopefully build upon and hopefully build this team properly. Andrew Thomas has also been a blessing back on that O-line. Offensive line has played really good football the last couple of weeks overall, and not too much to complain about. So look, I'm just trying to find anything positive to speak of when it comes to this football team. They don't give me a whole lot, but
Sure don't.
that's about all I got, man. Right now with this, just got to be patient for a little bit longer. I think we do have our quarterback. We got a good, solid, young, tough running back. We got a great wide receiver if we can get him back healthy. Who, by the way, did you heard about his diagnosis when he went in? I guess they found out that it was actually more damage than they first realized. It's not like just a torn ACL. He's got some other shit going on down there in that knee too. It's pretty fucked up, they said. But with Malik Neighbors, man. So
the Giants would have a pretty fucked up injury on their fucking turf.
So just wish him the best, man, and getting back. I think he hit. I don't know if he had. I think he was supposed to be getting surgery this week. I don't know if he did or not, if he got it yet or not. But another lost season for the New York Giants, y'all. Whether you know it or not, whether you want to come to terms with it or not, I don't want to hear about the mathematics anymore. This season is over for the New York Giants.
You notice I didn't start no 11-6 this year at all. I didn't say nothing near it, nothing about it, nowhere close to it. There's a lost season, bro.
So I am curious to see if anybody will step up tomorrow night and surprise the hell out of me, but I'm not gonna hold my breath, man.
This season is like that Nas album, The Lost Tapes.
I was thinking that too. I didn't really want to quite go there, man, because Diesel, you know what I mean? That was like he's an NFL legend, you know what I mean? But Scat, he do give me them vibes, man. He definitely gives me them vibes. Big Simple. And you're right, Bookends. I mean, the defender did make a great play on that. He just hit the ball. I mean, put his helmet right on the football on that Scat fumble. So that's what I say. I'm not gonna hold that too much against Scat. He's a rookie, and he'll learn from that for sure. But you guys have any final thoughts? Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Make sure you go subscribe to Mac the Giants Fan and Adam Costas. Great content creators, man. Check them out every Wednesday for the NFC East Roundup. Make sure you go check out Mac at Aftermath, Big Blue Aftermath after the Giants game Thursday night tomorrow. I'm going to try to tap in with you on that.
It's not going to happen tomorrow. I got to work tomorrow night, so I ain't going to be able to get the Aftermath.
All right. Well, I'll call the game, but I don't know if
I'll try to listen to the game while I'm at work, but I ain't gonna be able to even watch it or do an Aftermath. So it would be real late anyway if I did it.
Well, I don't have much. The Giants suck. If they lose, let's fire the fucking coach. He should get a pink slip like they do with Rich Kotite. After that 1-15 season, they fired him. They didn't even let him get to the media session before they fired his ass. So fire his ass if he doesn't make it out, if we don't win.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was written. He said I still have Nas's Lost Tape CD in my CD collection. Not mad at you for that, David. I ain't mad. I ain't know y'all listen to Nas down in Texas.
All Nas's joints is classics. Facts.
Yeah, I ain't know y'all listen to him down there in Texas, man. But let's go Yanks. I mean, somebody from New York got to do something because the Mets, the Jets, and the Giants. I tell you, right now they ain't nothing but an abomination. But let me get out of here. Make sure y'all go step up to my guy Big Lou too at G Nation Inside Sports, man. Also, man, appreciate you coming on, Lou.
Oh, thank you for having me, bro. I love chopping it up with y'all.
But
thanks for coming over.
Thank everybody in the chat, man. All y'all in the chat, keeping the chat lit up, man. Appreciate y'all. And y'all know y'all catch us again next Wednesday, man. Myself, Adam, man, for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup, man. Another tough year for the Big Blue, man. One of these years as a content creator, I ain't really had a good year yet. But one of these years as a content creator, it's gonna happen, man.
We made it to the playoffs once while you were a content creator.
Yeah, we did that. I'll be able to come out and maybe to give me something to talk about, positive to talk about, man.
Yeah, and we haven't been back since.
But I'm Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, super dope co-host Adam Costas, and my guy Big Lou, man, from G Nation Inside Sports. Check y'all out next Wednesday, man. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.